Los Angeles, 1986. Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. in front of the Canon Films office building in Beverly Hills, a 25-year-old Belgian fighter is waiting. He is now a world-famous actor, but at that time no one knows him. That person is Jean-Claude Van Damme. He has less than $50 in his pocket. He hasn't paid rent in 3 weeks. Last night he ate protein powder instead of dinner, but there is something in his eyes, a determination, a fire. Today his life will change, but no one knows it yet. Van Damme has been in America for 9 months, 9 long, cruel, soul-crushing months. When he left Brussels, his family asked him, "Are you crazy? There are millions of people in Hollywood. Who are you, just a karate champion? You can't even speak English properly. Your accent is so thick, people don't understand what you're saying." They were right, about everything. But Van Damme knew something his family didn't: discipline. It would be enough to gain discipline not only in martial arts but in life, even in every job in life. Since he was 11, he woke up at 6 every morning to train. He spent every day training, and on top of that, he worked as a taxi driver. He never took a vacation. There was no sick leave. There were no excuses. There was only discipline. When he arrived in Los Angeles, he had exactly $6,000. He had saved every penny, working in construction in Belgium, teaching karate, giving private lessons. Every dollar he earned, every dollar he saved. This represented years of sacrifice, years of planning, years of believing in a dream that everyone said was impossible. The money ran out in 3 months. Rent in Los Angeles was very high. Food was expensive. Gas for his old Toyota. Photo shoots. Acting lessons he could barely afford. The money evaporated like water in the desert. Agencies turned him away at the door. Casting directors said, "You're too short." At 59, he wasn't the typical action hero height, too muscular. His physique was intimidating, far from the lean look Hollywood wanted. He looks foreign. His face was too European, too different. "We can't understand his accent," they said. His English was improving, but he still had a heavy accent. Every rejection hurt. Every closed door felt like a nail in the coffin of his dreams. But Van Damme had something most people didn't. Something gained through years of martial arts training. The ability to take a hit and keep going. Discipline, the rule of never straying from his plans no matter what, had forged an iron will in Van Damme. Van Damme didn't give up. While training at Venice Beach, he met people, producers, directors, actors, anyone who could help. He opened doors at Chuck Norris' studio, cleaned the floors just to be there, just to breathe the same air as successful action stars, just to learn. He studied English late into the night. He practiced speaking in front of the mirror. He watched action movies until he memorized every scene. Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Norris. He studied their movements, the Hollywood stars on screen, all their movement and acting skills. What made them successful? What made audiences love them? His home was a small studio apartment in a bad neighborhood. The walls were thin. He could hear his neighbors fighting. He could hear the traffic outside. At night, he could hear police sirens. There were cockroaches in the building. The shower barely worked, but he had a mirror, and that was all he needed. A mirror shows you exactly where you are. Every morning was the same routine: wake up at 6, 2 hours of training, stretching, kicks, punches, conditioning. Then a shower, studying English, then out into the city, auditions, networking, surviving. Then one day a friend told him something. Canon Films makes action movies. Menahem, Golan, and Yoram Globus. Israeli producers. They're different. They appreciate unusual talent. They gave Chuck Norris a chance when no one else would. They make low-budget films, but they make a lot of them. Maybe there's a chance. Van Damme felt something stir inside him. Hope, dangerous hope. The kind that could destroy you if it didn't work out, but the kind that could save you if it did. "If there's a chance, I'm in," he said. Van Damme called Canon Films' office the next day. His hands were shaking as he dialed the number. The receptionist, in a polite but firm tone, said, "Mr. Golan is in a meeting. His schedule is full. Maybe we can arrange something next month," and postpone the meeting to a later date. Next month. Van Damme couldn't pay next week's rent, but he thanked her. He was polite. He hung up. He sat on his bed. He stared at the wall. He thought. The next day he called again, under a different name. Jean Varenberg, his real surname, same answer. The receptionist didn't remember or care about the voice from the previous day. On the third day, he called again. This time there was a different receptionist. He tried a different approach. He said he was calling about a job opportunity. The result was the same, no appointment. On the fourth day, he decided to go to the office. In person, maybe meeting face to face would give him a chance. Maybe if they saw him, saw his physique, saw his determination, something would change. The Canon Films building was impressive. Bright, modern glass and steel. It reeked of money and power. There was expensive furniture in the lobby, artwork on the walls. When Van Damme walked in, security stopped him. "Do you have an appointment?" "I'm here to see Mr. Golan." "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but I'm sorry. We can't admit anyone without an appointment." Van Damme turned back, but he didn't give up. But the truly shocking part was what Van Damme did next. If the mountain won't come to you, you go to the mountain. Van Damme made a plan. He arrived at the building at 6 a.m., parked, waited. At 8 a.m., employees started arriving. But no Menahem Golan. 9 o'clock, still nothing. At 10 a.m., a black Mercedes pulled up. The driver opened the door. An older man stepped out. Short, thick white hair, radiating intense energy. Van Damme recognized him. He'd seen photos. Menahem Golan. Van Damme got out of his car, approached. "Mr. Golan, Mr. Golan." Menahem turned, suspicious look. "Yes. I'm Jean-Claude Van Damme, martial arts expert. I need to speak with you." Menahem raised his hand. "Make an appointment with my assistant. I don't have time now." Turned, walked, entered the building. Van Damme stood there, empty-handed, but he'd learned something. Menahem arrived at 10 a.m. The next day, same time, he was there. When Menahem got out of his car, he approached. "Mr. Golan, please, I told you, talk to my assistant." Walked away. Third day, same scene. Fourth day. Menahem now shook his head when he saw him, sign of irritation, but wouldn't talk. Fifth day. Security tried to remove Van Damme. "They'll arrest you for harassment. Get out of here." Van Damme left. But he didn't give up. This is where everything changed. Van Damme thought, "I can't catch Menahem at the office. He's always rushing, meetings, people everywhere. But what about outside the office? Somewhere he's relaxed." He followed Menahem for a week, carefully, from a distance. Where does he eat lunch? Which restaurants? What's his routine? He discovered that Menahem ate lunch at the Ivy 3 days a week, a luxury restaurant in Beverly Hills, meeting place for celebrities, producers, directors. Every lunch, 1:30 p.m., stayed until 2:30. What if he approached at the restaurant? No, security would be there. He'd be humiliated, would never get near Menahem again. What about outside the restaurant? When Menahem gets in his car, no, too fast. Driver present, might have security, he thought, planned. He needed to do something unexpected. Something Menahem couldn't forget, but not threatening. Respectful yet unforgettable. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. Van Damme counted all his money. $47. He needed a suit, look proper, look professional. He bought a second-hand suit from Salvation Army, black, a bit loose but clean, a shirt, plain white, a tie, all for $23. Went home, showered, shaved, combed his hair, stood in front of the mirror. The suit was a bit big on him, but that determination was in his face, that fire. "Tomorrow," he said to himself. "Tomorrow everything changes." That night he couldn't sleep. Went over the plan in his mind again and again. What would he say? How would he approach? What would he do? Every detail, every possibility, every risk. Woke up at 6 a.m., trained like he always did, discipline, focus, control. Then got ready, put on the suit, looked in the mirror one last time. "Let's go," he said. "Time has come." He arrived outside the Ivy at 12:30, early, very early, but he wanted to be sure. Parked the car 50 meters from the restaurant. Waited. Watched. At 1:30, Menahem's Mercedes arrived. Driver opened the door. Menahem got out, 2 more people with him, business associates. They entered talking. Van Damme waited, watched the clock. Minutes felt like hours. His hands were sweating, heart pounding, but his face was calm, in control. 2:15, still inside. 2:20, continuing to wait. 2:28, door opened. Menahem came out alone. Business associates stayed inside, paying the bill unknown, but Menahem was alone, walking toward his car. Van Damme got out of the car, walked, not running, not rushing, calm, determined, measured steps. Menahem was 5 meters from his car, driver preparing to open the door. Van Damme 10 meters away. Menahem had paused, looking at his cell phone. Van Damme 5 meters away. "What you're seeing now is nothing." Menahem looked up, saw Van Damme, recognized him, that Belgian who kept waiting at the office, eyebrows furrowed. "You again?" Van Damme stopped, right in front of Menahem, 3 meters distance. Then he did something Menahem had never seen in his life. He jumped, spun in the air, and right above Menahem's head, airborne, executed a perfect side kick, controlled, precise. Just centimeters from Menahem's hair. The wind was felt but no contact made. Landed. Perfect balance, standing, calm. The entire movement took 2 seconds. Menahem froze, eyes wide open. Driver shocked, people around stopped, everyone watched. Van Damme straightened his suit, adjusted his tie, then looked at Menahem, smiled, a small, respectful smile. "Mr. Golan," he said, accent thick but words clear. "I am Jean-Claude Van Damme, martial arts champion, and one day I will be the biggest action star in the world. I just wanted to show you that." Silence. Complete silence. Menahem stared, shocked, angry, intrigued, confused. Was this man crazy, dangerous, a genius? Then Menahem did something Van Damme didn't expect. He laughed out loud, a genuine laugh. You just kicked above my head." "Yes, sir, but I didn't touch you. Control, precision, power, and discipline." Menahem shook his head. "Are you insane?" "No, sir, just determined." Menahem studied him, head to toe, cheap suit, worn shoes, but posture perfect, physique extraordinary. That fire in his eyes. "Come inside," Menahem said. "Talk to me." But the truly shocking part was what happened in the office. Menahem turned to his driver. "Go back to the office. I'm walking with this man." The driver looked surprised but didn't object. The Mercedes left. Menahem looked at Van Damme. "Let's walk. Tell me who you are." During the 10-minute walk, Van Damme told everything. His childhood in Belgium, starting karate at 11, European championship, Hollywood dream. Coming to Los Angeles, the struggle, rejections, but never giving up. Menahem listened quietly, asked questions. "What films have you watched? Who do you admire? What can you do?" Van Damme answered, honest, humble but confident. "I can do everything, splits, acrobatics, fighting, dancing, whatever the director wants." Menahem thought, dancing. "Yes, I've been studying ballet since I was 10, flexibility, balance, control." Menahem stopped. "Ballet? A karate champion studies ballet. Bruce Lee did too. Movement is art, fighting is art." Menahem smiled. He was beginning to like this man. When they reached the office, Menahem called to his assistant. "Bring the Bloodsport script." 5 minutes later he had it. Bloodsport, story of a real martial artist, Frank Duck's underground fighting tournament, Kumite. Menahem gave the script to Van Damme. "Read it right now, here." Van Damme read it in 30 minutes. His heart was pounding. It was like they'd created this role for him. Fight scenes, discipline, honor, courage. "What do you think?" Menahem asked. "This is me," Van Damme said. "I was born to play this role." Menahem leaned back, fingers together, thought. A long silence. "The budget is low," he finally said. $1.5 million, not a big production, but if it's successful. "It will be successful," Van Damme said. "I guarantee it." "You can't guarantee it. The film business is unpredictable." "I am predictable, I promise you. I will give my life for this film. Every scene, every kick, every movement, it will be perfect." Menahem looked, saw the fire in this young man's eyes, the determination, the hunger. "Screen test," he said. "Next week. Do a fight scene. If it works, the role is yours." Van Damme stood, extended his hand. "I won't disappoint you." Menahem shook hands. "I hope not, because if you screw this up, your career ends before it starts." 1 week felt like eternity for Van Damme. Every day he woke at 6 and trained, memorized the script, every scene, every line, every movement visualized in his mind. When screen test day arrived, he was ready. When he arrived at the studio, Menahem was there, with the director. "Cameraman, production crew. Show us," Menahem said. Van Damme performed a fight scene. No choreographer, no rehearsal, pure instinct, power, speed, fluidity. Every kick tore through the air. Every punch exploded, perfect mixture of control and ferocity. When he finished, the studio was silent. Then Menahem applauded, slow, rhythmic. "Incredible," he said. "You're real." "Is the role mine?" Van Damme asked. Menahem smiled. "The role is yours." Bloodsport was released in 1988. With its modest budget, it earned $65 million at the box office. Van Damme became a star overnight. His muscles, his splits, his kicks. Everyone was talking about him, but Van Damme never forgot that Wednesday afternoon. The moment outside the ivy, the kick above Menahem's head. Years later in an interview he was asked, kicking above Menahem's head was a crazy move. What if he got angry? What if he called the police? Van Damme smiled. I knew Menahem was different, not conventional, someone who appreciated unusual talent. I needed to surprise him, needed to be unforgettable. But the risk was huge. Every great achievement is a risk. If I hadn't gathered my courage that day, if I'd played it safe, if I'd just sent a resume, I wouldn't be here. Sometimes in life you need to do extraordinary things to prove yourself. Van Damme's story goes beyond getting a role with one kick. It's about determination, about belief, about confidence in yourself and your talent. For 9 months he was rejected, doors slammed in his face. Money ran out, but he didn't give up. Every day he woke up, trained, worked, believed, and finally just 3 seconds of a kick changed his life forever. What are you doing? When doors close, do you give up? Or do you look for a different door? Do rejection stop you? Or do they make you more creative? Before Van Damme threw that kick, he'd been rejected hundreds of times, but one yes was enough. One person believing, one chance. Who is your Menahem Golan? Who is the person whose attention you want to capture? And how creative, how brave, how determined are you to capture their attention? Because sometimes 3 seconds is enough. 3 seconds of courage, 3 seconds of action, 3 seconds of belief. Van Damme changed his life in those 3 seconds. Now it's your turn. If this story taught you something, hit that like button. Subscribe for more inspiring stories like Van Damme's. And tell me in the comments, when will your Menahem moment come?